Hey guys, and Merry Christmas Eve by the time you watch this, since this will be on the 24th of December, basically 21 days from now. Seeing as I'm recording this on the 3rd, the day before I officially start working at the Dollar Tree tomorrow. Actually, it's just my training that I start on the 4th. But I wanted to come on here and, just basically give you a bit of a, I guess you could say a review of something I've already talked about and did a review on when it came out. And I think I did another one a couple years back on Best Gift Ever. The My Little Pony Friendship is Magic special that they did. And what's intriguing about Best Gift Ever is the fact that it's, essentially the, if I'm counting right, as I just checked something there, if I'm counting right, it is essentially 1, 2, 3, I think the 4th or the 5th. It is the 5th, actually, because they had Heartwarming. They had the Heartwarming Eve one, which was their play that they did, I think, in the 2nd or 3rd season. Then you had Heartbreakers. Then you had Heartwarming Tale. And then you had Heartwarming Club, I think. And then you had this, Best Gift Ever. I think so. So that's basically like I said, they had the first Heartwarming one they did, then Heartbreakers, then Heartwarming Tale, and then Heartwarming Club. So this is like the 5th one that they did. And ironically, the 5th one that they did was the actual special that they based it on. And the other ones, though, they were pretty good. I mean, you could tell that when it came to these heartwarming special episodes that they did before Best Gift Ever, that they put a lot more effort animation-wise at times than they would in regular episodes. I'm not saying that the other episodes didn't have decent animation or they didn't put their A game into certain episodes like season finales or premieres. They did. There's no doubt about that. But when it came to the Christmas ones, which these were, it seemed they wanted to make it feel more, more elaborate. In other words, kind of basically stay in the tradition of, how nicer animated Christmas episodes of specials are supposed to look. And with Best Gift Ever, that's no exception. The only difference is this is 44 minutes, an hour if you're watching it on television. And it's actually pretty good. The other heartwarming episodes that they did were actually great. I mean, the first one they did basically told of the origin of how, Equestria came to be, with all the races of ponies, working together and all that. And it's all centered around heartwarming, which is why it's always a big deal to them, a big celebration to them. Bigger than I think any other celebration, including those dedicated to Celestia and Luna. But yeah, it's looked at as one of the bigger, if not the biggest, holidays that they like to celebrate because it's the founding of Equestria. It ties into that. Then so there was that one, and it was actually pretty good because what they actually did with that first one that they worked on, I think it was on second or 3rd season, is basically, they took a trope that we had seen in other animated shows. They took a trope of, here's the established characters, getting ready to put on a play to tell a story. And then as that play goes on, you're transported into that world as if it's really happening, as if, basically there is no audience. There is no audience watching or anything. That, basically it is, the real, it is legit. It's basically, everything that's happening, like the snow effects and all that, are all real kind of deal. So that's kind of how it felt because, we've seen it before with Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol, underrated, which is an absolute classic you should watch. Not underrated, but absolute classic you should watch. We've seen it with that. We've seen it with the Flintstones Christmas Carol. We've seen it with several others, not just Christmas Carol, but others, and it just works out perfectly. It just works out perfectly the way it gets, the way it's presented, because not only do you get to see the characters, as they are, but then you see them taking on these personas, and acting as if and acting as if they are those real, legit, characters that they represent. Like, again with this first one, it felt like you were transported into another world. It's like it's a play, but then all of a sudden, as soon as that play starts, boom! It feels like it's actually, happening. Like it's not a play. Like it's an actual episode, story being told in flashback with the characters representing, like I say, who they're portraying. So I love that concept, and I think it worked out very, very well. The next one they did was, I think it was Hearthbreakers. And it basically served as sort of a continuation, a sequel to the Apple what was it, the Apple Pie episode they did, the Family Apple Pie episode, Apple Pinkie Pie, or whatever it's called, where pretty much it's not confirmed, but it's kind of hinted at, implied that Pinkie and Applejack may be related by some extent because of this family scroll that Pinkie uncovered thanks to the suggestion of Twilight. And it kind of surprised her. So, that's what that episode was. Again, it wasn't any confirmation that they were related. It was implying and hinting, that potentially there could be some kind of relation by blood and all that, descent, ancestral wise, if you will. And it gets even further kind of confirmed a little bit when you go and see it. You see Hearthbreakers, because Pinkie and Applejack kind of like thinking the same thought. There's an indication that Pinkie's mom may have been a pie when she was young, but she related to the Pie family, but she doesn't know. So there's that, and it works out great. That episode works great too, because you have Applejack and the Apple family. They're glad to be part of this. But what it is that they're not prepared for the way the Pie family does heartwarming. They're not prepared for that. And Applejack is like, well, you know what? I understand they have their ways, but I would like to show them how it can really be done. And she basically, without their permission, without consenting with them, basically she takes matters into her own hands and basically does this elaborate showcase of what they could really be. And it's just one of those episodes to where, like I said, you have to watch it because it's got a great message behind it. And it does, like I say, further kind of elaborate, not confirm, but elaborate and hint and imply that there is family connection between the two. So that's nice to see. And they do continue this on somewhat in Best Gift Ever, if you will. And then you have Heartwarming Tale, which is basically their take on A Christmas Carol. And basically you have Starlight not wanting to go to the Christmas party or the Heartwarming party, even though Twilight believes, kind of suggests that she should at least give it a shot. So to kind of encourage her to, consider giving it a shot, she decides, okay, I'll read you a Heartwarming Tale, basically their take on Christmas Carol, and and basically the rest is history. Pretty much follows almost to a T. Well, I wouldn't say to a T, but it follows very loosely to a T the format of A Christmas Carol. And all the characters, I think Salplex, who talked about this in her Christmas Carol best and worst video, 2-part video she did, she's loved the fact that all of them were expertly cast, except maybe she would have flipped Fluttershy into the Bob Cratchit role instead of Rainbow Dash. It is a very good episode. It's a very good episode and a nice take, on the Christmas Carol, the Christmas Carol story from a Ponyville perspective, from an MLP, I should say, Equestria perspective. So, that's a good episode you should check out, and it's a good musical. And also, if you want any, indication that they do, put more effort, into certain episodes or special episodes, Heartwarming Tale is one of those examples of them doing that. because you could see it, not just in the music and anything, but the animation. So, so you should, check it out, not just for the story itself, but for the animation. It looks really good. Then we got Heartwarming Club. I think this was in the 7th season when we got introduced, well, not 7th season, but the 8th season when we got introduced to the Student 6. And the Heartwarming Club episode basically was, just the Student 6 talking about how they all, celebrate Heartwarming Eve, heartwarming in their own way via the different species. You have Ocelis talking about how they celebrate it, but all they know about is the word carol, and it's always used to sing, so they just go carol, carol, carol. They just sing that, and they have the tree upside down, or not a regular heartwarming Christmas tree, but a regular tree. You have Yona. You have Yona. She talks about how in the Yakistan they celebrate by breaking logs and stuff, so that's cool. You have I think you have Silverstream. She talks about how they do it, how her family on both ends, Hippogriff and Sea Pony, how they celebrate. You have Sandbar talking about his history with heartwarming. And then you get Gallus, and Gallus basically talks about the fact that he never had a true heartwarming or anything like that, because the only time they ever, that Griffins ever kind of put their differences aside, their bitterness aside, is around the heartwarming time, and that's it. And it's usually just, families or Griffins, reluctantly getting together. Like when he's talking about this, we see a flashback where it's the grandpa Griffin, at dinner, reluctantly, obviously, with Gilda and Gabby. With Gilda and Gabby, and it's a decent episode. I'll put it this way: it's a decent episode, and it basically ends with the Student 6 saying, "You know what? We're not going to go anywhere. We're just going to stay with him and be done with it." And then, of course, this leads us into Best Gift Ever, which, again, you could definitely tell they put a lot of effort into, and definitely felt like a legit special, because sometimes specials always have songs and everything. But you could tell they put a lot more effort into this. I think more so than the other heartwarming episodes that they did. Not saying they didn't put effort animation-wise and story-wise into them. They did. But with, Best Gift Ever, they put a lot more, because not only was it a legit special, but it had, very few songs. And by having very few songs, only at the beginning and at the end, it allowed for more breathing room for the story itself to be told. And the story was basically them doing a Secret Santa. They were doing a Secret Santa, at the suggestion of Applejack, who saw that Twilight was having a, holiday meltdown, if you will, because she's going from one, because Twilight's teleporting from like one area, from one bargain area to from one purchase area to another and everything. So Applejack's like, hey, why don't we do this? Why don't we do what my family has done before? Do a heartwarming helper, a Secret Santa. And every pony and dragon, because Spike is involved, agrees to do this. Twilight agrees to do this because it would make things simpler. And each of them draw an image of the cutie mark or wing out of Applejack's hat. And it pretty much almost goes exactly the way you would predict. I mean, I recall when I was working at Walmart during my break or before I started work, one day I was talking about this, and I was basically right on the money with some of them. Not all of them, but right on the money with some of them. Because, like I said, it goes exactly as you would guess it would on who gets who. Like, everybody would predict, because, obviously taking cues from the movie and stuff, that Twilight was going to get Pinky, and Pinky was going to get Twilight, and that's exactly what happened. And then everybody would expect, okay, so like with Rainbow Dash, everybody would expect, oh, she's going to get Fluttershy. She got Fluttershy. So she got Fluttershy, and then everybody's expecting, okay, Applejack, what about her? Who's she going to get? And, you know, a lot of people thought, you know, she's going to get Rarity to kind of tie into that, or Spike's going to get Rarity, or she's going to get Rainbow Dash, and, you know, Fluttershy's going to get Applejack, or whatever. And, again, a lot of us were kind of close and right on the money about it, because Applejack, she ends up getting Spike, and Fluttershy originally ends up getting Rarity, and Spike originally gets Rainbow Dash. But what happens is Spike, you know, obviously it playing, you know, one of the subplots of the Secret Santa, Heartwarming Helper, you know, is playing into his crush on Rarity, his love for Rarity. So when he sees that he doesn't have her, he tries to look around on who has it. I mean, he even consults with Applejack, you know, to see whether or not it's against the rules to, you know, trade up or anything for some pony else, for some pony or some dragon else. And Applejack's like, no, not that I think of. So he starts with her, and she says no, she doesn't have Rarity, because obviously she's now, you know, because obviously Applejack is realizing, you know, why he's asking this. You know, why he's asking this and everything, and it's like, okay, why is he asking, you know, if it's okay to switch up? And obviously she gets clued in and everything when she's like, I don't have Rarity. So obviously, you know, obviously she already knew, because Spike, like I said, he consults with her and asks if it, like I said, if it's against the rules, and she says, not that I know of. And then, you know, he starts to ask, and she's like, I don't have Rarity, if that's what you're thinking. You know, because she can't let him know, yeah, I have you, because here's the thing, the one thing about Secret Santas is you can't let anybody know who you have. You can't. And, you know, Applejack, you know, telling him she doesn't have Rarity is her way of saying, hey, I can't tell you who I have, but I can tell you I don't have Rarity, because we find out later on, like I said, she has Spike. So Spike continues to try to find out who has it. He has Twilight. Twilight says no, you know, she doesn't have her, because she's already aware of that too. Then he tries Pinky. Pinky runs by him after getting an idea of what to do for her present for Twilight, and she said, I don't have her. And so he's like, okay, who else could I try? And I think he does try Rainbow Dash, but Rainbow, I think, also says she doesn't have her. I think he tries Rainbow Dash. I'm not really sure, because inevitably he does end up with Fluttershy. He does end up asking Fluttershy, and Fluttershy is looking into a window at a necklace. And then that kind of clues him in, like, why is she looking at a necklace that only Rarity would probably like? So he asks her, and being a dragon, you know, of course, dragons sometimes are known to be very sneaky, very tricky, if you will, fast-talking, smooth-talking. So going into his dragon instincts, he notices she does have Rarity, so he trades up with her, boom, boom, you know, kind of sweet-talks her or manipulates her sweetly into the trade. Which, you know, she doesn't question him about. And, you know, she just goes along with it. It's like, hey, you know, because, you know, Fluttershy's Fluttershy. You know, as long as, you know, it makes somebody happy, one of her friends happy, she doesn't mind. Even if it does kind of feel a little confusing, you know, manipulative or something, you know, in the end, she's just cool with it. It's like, as long as she can make her friends happy, she's fine. So he trades with her because he reveals he has Rainbow Dash. So boom, she ends up getting Rainbow Dash. He ends up getting Rarity. And, you know, basically things start to go the way you would expect. But they were a little thrown off for a bit. And it's one of the, I'll say this, it's one of the best, you know, Christmas episodes, specials, I should say, I've seen in a while, especially New-wise. New-wise, if you will, is one of the best ones they've done. I like the fact that you get Discord involved, because Discord knows Fluttershy, and he knows that, yeah, you could get her this, you know, because, you know, Rainbow Dash tells him, you know, I've tried to figure out what she has, but, you know, what she wants, but she likes everything. And Discord's like, well, yeah, of course she's going to say that just to make you happy, but only her true friends would know what she wants. And he has to explain to her, look, I know of something that's going to really make her happy, because, you know, she's an animal lover. And, you know, what he shows Rainbow Dash to get her is a very rare winter chilla. The only problem is the winter chilla is something that, you know, turns into a freaking Godzilla-like monster at the end. You know, at night, I should say. So yeah, it's one of those situations where, like, Discord, you know, has the best intentions in mind to help Rainbow Dash to get a unique gift for Fluttershy. And, he has the best intentions in mind, but he fails to tell her, oh yeah, by the way, what you're going to get, you might want to keep sunlight on it or something, some kind of sunlight, some kind of light on it, because if it goes dark, it grows. So you got Discord involved doing that, and it's one of the best usages, as people would say, of Discord, because he, like I said, he has the right intentions in mind, but fails to kind of explain to Rainbow, oh yeah, I forgot to mention about that, I should have told you we need to find a way to keep light on it or something. So you have all the characters going to all these different scenarios. Like you have Fluttershy and Applejack going to Rainbow Falls, to this market to find stuff, and Fluttershy getting bamboozled along with all the other ponies by the Flim Flam brothers. You have Applejack basically, at first, she's going to get a Power Ponies comic or Fire Sticks for Spike, but then she decides, you know what, I can't get this now because I have to help my friend financially, get back on the train, or get her money back or something. So they just decide, okay, we're going to take these two Raggedy Ann, very Raggedy Ann like dolls, and and present them as Christmas presents, to Rainbow and Spike. It's crazy. And then you have Twilight. She's being very Twilight. She's being very Twilight like. Trying to figure out a present for Pinky, and then figures out what she's going to get her. And ironically, she's doing this at the same time that her brother and her sister-in-law and their baby are coming to stay for Heartwarming with her. And that being, of course, Shining Armor and Cadence. And I have to give credit. I love the fact that they gave Cadence and Shining Armor a lot more to do here than ever. The fact that when you get to the climax, you have this, where they're battling basically this monster, this pudding, if you will, I can't think of the name of the pudding or anything, but they're battling this pudding that comes to life, right? And Rarity gets caught up by it. It attaches itself onto Rarity, and Shining Armor is like, oh, I got this. And then Cadence hands Flurry Heart over to him and says, which one of us can fly, dear? And I just love that. That's a good part and everything. And then, after she, does her thing, gets Rarity out of, to safety, Shining Armor tells Flurry Heart, your mother sure is something. And then he, basically, uses his magic to carry Flurry Heart a little bit, and he just basically runs towards the pudding, jumps up, grabs onto a curtain, zaps the pudding, lands right next to Cadence, and Cadence is like, you're not so bad yourself. It's just a good moment, and I love the fact that you get more development with them. But yeah, you have Twilight coming up with the pudding, to basically be a gift to Pinkie Pie, because she knows Pinkie Pie likes to cook and everything. And Pinkie Pie's gift is a very unique one. It's special ingredients and all that for something. And she gets it from these magical reindeer, which are basically like redesigned pony, which are basically, I'll be honest, are redesigned or remodeled designs of Mrs. Cakes, Granny Smith, and I think to an extent, maybe, Sandbar, I think to an extent. So yeah, they have, they give her this gift and everything, because one can see the past, one can see the future, one can see the present. So they give her, what she needs, and that helps kind of stop the pudding from basically overtaking the whole castle and engulfing everybody, absorbing them, if you will. So yes, that's her gift to Twilight. And Twilight, like I said, the pudding was her gift to Pinkie, causing Twilight to go, as Shining Armor says, oh, Twily Nanas, if you will. But anyway, Twilight, like I said, she ends up, basically, basically still giving her the pudding and everything, but not the way she was expecting. And, Pinky's cool with it and everything, because she's like, hey, if it wasn't for the ingredients I had, who knows what would have happened kind of deal. So, yeah, you have that. And then, of course, you have Spike. And you have Rarity. Rarity, at first, is getting a hat. Her plan is to get a hat. She's basically ordered a hat for Applejack, right? And what happens is Derpy, Muffins, if you will, is, of course, the mail carrier. And she ends up accidentally screwing up the order, and the order goes to another address. So Rarity has to go there. She meets this family. She meets this son of theirs who is a huge fan of hers, who also at the end understands that, look, I know this was meant for somebody else, so, here, you need to take it with you because I know it wasn't really meant for me. But Rarity, being who she is, the element of generosity, corrects him and everything, and gives it and lets him keep it, and even says, I'm not going to hear another word of it, or else I'm not going to see you at the next fashion kind of thing. Basically inviting him to our next fashion extravaganza and everything before giving him a hug and going off on her own and everything, and then explaining to Applejack that I had this, this hat for you all lined up and everything, but it was meant for someone else. And Applejack, Applejack being Applejack is cool with it, because she takes off her hat and she's like, her dad told, she basically tells him that her dad told her at one point that it's the hat who chooses the pony and all that, or something along those lines. So that's Rarity's situation. But then we get to Spike. And Spike, now that he has Rarity, at first he's unsure of what to do, and then he starts walking around thinking, what can I get her? What can I get her? What can I get her? And then he just realizes, why don't I just make something for her? It'll be a lot better. So he starts making what looks like to be a parasail. One of the umbrellas that she can hold and all that. That little parasail. That doesn't turn out the way he wants, because he ends up falling asleep in it. Or on the parasail, as well as in the stuff that he's making for it. And so what happens is he decides, okay, I'm not going to do that. That's out of the question. What can I do? And then he comes up with a song. So he basically gets a guitar that the now reformed Winter Chilla that Fluttershy helped tame and everything. Basically, and we find out that the reason Discord even chose the Winter Chilla as a rare gift for Rainbow Dash to give her, if not Rainbow Dash basically even agreeing we could just make it from both of us deal, is to finally give Fluttershy her moment of saving the day, if you will. But anyway, long story short, Spike, like I said, his original idea for parasail and all that doesn't work. So he comes up with an idea to, sing a song. So he basically takes the guitar from the Winter Chilla, who has it ready for him. It's a makeshift guitar. And he starts playing it. And he starts playing his version of The True Gift of Giving. But he sings it in a way, and I've said this before, he sings it in a way that's very, basically love song romantic-wise. Because it's not a song that, like with Twilight, because Twilight takes over and does her revising of it later on. Which I also liked. I like the fact that you had essentially the brother-sister duo, which officially was acknowledged, if not, in season 9, if not before then, of Spike and Twilight singing this song, if you will. But what it is with Spike is his version of it, unlike Twilight's, is more, is more dedicated to Rarity. It's more for Rarity or anything else, not just everybody else, or not just all the other main 6 characters. It's for her. It's for her. And like I said, it's done in a very romantic love song wise, which of course touches Rarity's heart. And you see like the little star sparkles in her eyes. And, then, she's very appreciative of it and everything. And, Spike's like, hey, I tried to get you the best gift ever, but he just didn't know what it was. So he came up with this, and he ends up getting a kiss from her on the cheek, which is like, I think the 3rd time she's kissed him, but the first time in 6 years, 6 seasons, if you will, 6-7 seasons. So that's pretty cool. That was pretty cool and everything. But and to me, like I've said before, I think this was honestly their way of kind of like implying, if not hinting, at the fact that they are now somewhat semi-official, not totally official, but semi-official as, an item. Like, Rarity, she could crush on, or, be attracted to other ponies and all that, stallions, and Spike the same way with other dragonettes or even griffinettes, if you will. But, and that's fine, but there will always be that connection. Like, like I said, she could, be attracted to other stallions, Spike to other dragonettes or griffinettes, as we find out in the next season, kind of. But there's always going to be that connection that keeps them together. Like there's that love, that that bond that's not going to be broken. That even if Rarity dates this guy or Spike dates this girl, that it doesn't work out and everything, they can always try working, basically being together once again. So that's the feeling I got. It was a semi-official implication and hint that they were more than just friends now. And I think if you watch Dragon Drop the next season, I think that's even confirmed. I think it's even confirmed more, in that episode, and then what you get here, or at least it adds to what is confirmed here, or at least not confirmed but implied, hinted at here. So overall, besides that, it was Best Gift Ever is a great special and a great final, as far as I know, because I don't think they did it for season 9. As far as I know, did they do it for season 9? No, I don't think they did. I don't think they did it for season 9, but I can say that for a final heartwarming Christmas episode in Friendship is Magic, I think they went out with a bang here. I think they went out with a bang. I really appreciate the animation, the story, and everything. Them doing the Secret Santa heartwarming helper deal, I should say. I love that. I love the fact that it doesn't have many songs, so it allows the story to flow. I love the fact that at the end, like I said, you have Spike doing the True Gift of Giving, his version, which is more of a romantic love song to Rarity. I love how he starts it off that way, and then I love how Twilight revises it in her direction, so I love that connection with those two. So, and overall, can't really say more than what I've said before, what others have said before. And I do highly recommend checking this out for this holiday season if you haven't already. And you're watching this on Christmas Eve, you have the whole day ahead of you. I say if you got Netflix, check this out. It's on there. You will love it. It is worth the watch. Even if you're not a true My Little Pony fan, a brony Pegasus, if you will, to me, watching this will be worth your while because it's something you might watch every year. But now the question obviously is, can Gen 5 top it in the next year or so? We'll have to see. But let me know what your thoughts are on Best Gift Ever. How did you like it? When you first saw it, how many times did you see it? What part of it did you like more so than anything besides some obvious ones that I think a lot of fans liked? What other parts of, besides those that you enjoy? Comment below, live chat during the premiere. Like the video. Check me out at my Teespring store. Also check me out at BW Rosa's Discussions on all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora. Also check me out at BW Rosas on VENMO. Also check me out at patreon.com/BWRosas and on Venmo at Brian-Walmer.2. So until next time, guys, have a Merry Christmas Eve. By the time you watch this, I'll probably be working maybe on this day because it is Christmas Eve and, all stores need help. You know what I'm saying? So hope you guys enjoyed this and I will talk to y'all later. Again, have a safe Christmas Eve and I'm out.